What's up and welcome back to another video, guys. Today we'll be talking about a potential Galactic Marine Battle Pack in 2026, the possibility of Shore Troopers returning the LEGO Star Wars, as well as some summer 2025 LEGO Star Wars sets, and much more. So if you're excited, leave a like, and if you have any questions that you'd like me to answer in the next episode of this series, let me know down below in the comment section of this video, and I'll try my best to get to them in the next episode. But without further ado, let's get right on into this video. Our first question for today comes from Jackson Memento, and they ask, what do I think the new rangefinder from the Jango Fett starship will cost after it retires? And ideally, I think that this rangefinder piece is going to be something that's unanimously used throughout all of the different LEGO Star Wars minifigures that would get a rangefinder. From my understanding, this new rangefinder piece is to replace the old one. It's not just for the Jango Fett, and from the shaping up rumors, we'll definitely be seeing it in the Jango Fett starship that's coming out in the summer of 2025, the playscale version. So that one I think will be definitely the same, and I would only assume that it would be the same for the clone troopers. I couldn't imagine that LEGO would spend all of the time and money to remake the rangefinder piece and then keep it exclusive to the UCS Slave 1 and not put it out in the other sets, because looking how it looks on our clone troopers, it also looks really good, especially on ARC Trooper 5s. So I feel like this is one that will definitely be seen in the future. But I mean, if it did hypothetically stay exclusive to that UCS Slave 1, I could see it becoming a pretty expensive piece, but I'm pretty sure that it won't be. Ninjago guy asks, do I think that we'll get a playscale Death Star next year to go with the UCS one? And I feel you. I know that this is the UCS Death Star is going to be one that not a lot of people are going to be able to afford, one that I probably won't be able to end up buying, but honestly, I don't think that we'd get a playscale one. I doubt that LEGO would have two Death Stars on shelves at the same time. And also, you have to think, $1,000 for the UCS one is crazy, but looking toward our playscale Death Stars that we got being what, $500 back in the day, now they would be what, probably $650, $700, maybe even breaching $800. And at that point, what's even the point when you can just get the UCS one? Now, I do think there is most likely another playscale Death Star in the cards for LEGO Star Wars a couple years down the line, but I don't think that we'll be seeing one anytime soon. Bartsman asks, do I think that we'll get a battle pack with the Galactic Marines? And I think that it's something that is pretty likely. Now, I doubt that LEGO would put all of this work and effort into the Galactic Marines and then have them exclusive to that turbo tank. Now, I do really hope that they come out in a battle pack, because if the Galactic Marines are even semi good, I'm going to be army building them. They are some of the coolest characters and clone troopers in Star Wars and minifigures that we've been waiting on for 20 years. So I feel like if they actually turn out relatively good, there's going to be many more people than just me who want to army build them, and I think LEGO would be foolish not to put them in a battle pack. Now, I know LEGO battle packs are very controversial right now. I have a video about that coming out pretty soon, but we'd have to kind of see, would that be a traditional $23 battle pack with just 4 Galactic Marines, or would they try and milk all of us and make it a $45 battle pack and have 4 Galactic Marines and 3 droids and a little bad ATRT build? We'll have to see. But I do think if they don't come out in a battle pack, then they most likely will come out in one of those European foil packs, which, a little bit annoying because we don't have those over in America, but they are, easy enough. It ends up making them about, you can get them for $8 or $9 if you're buying them. So on the aftermarket. So that does at least make them a bit more accessible than if they were exclusive to a $160 set. But I really do hope to see them in a battle pack. But to be honest, I would assume that we'd get them in a foil pack or a paper pack before we see them in a battle pack. Dreamall asks, what anniversary figs did I like more, 2019 or 2024? And this is just a no-brainer for me, being the 2024 minifigures. Don't get me wrong, the 2019 ones were pretty cool, but I think getting rehashes of old minifigures, while being cool, isn't as interesting as getting minifigures of new characters that we wouldn't otherwise see, like the 9-Nub, the Darth Malik, Saw Gerrera. But I do think that Saw Gerrera wasn't the greatest pick, because I do think we could have gotten him this year or next year as an Andor style figure, but enough about that. Getting ARC Trooper 5s, getting all of the cool characters that we otherwise never would have gotten minifigures of, versus, it's cool to get an OG Darth Vader or an OG Han Solo, but those are minifigures that if you really wanted, you could just go buy on Bricklink or something like that. So they're not as interesting as the 2024 minifigures, in my opinion. Finn asks, do I think that LEGO will make more battle packs or sets inspired by the Battlefront 2 game because of its recent popularity? And this isn't something that I was really thinking about. I made a video talking about Battlefront 2, Battlefront 3, and that whole everything that's going on regarding that. So if you want to take a look at that, I'll leave a link in the description. But I never thought about bringing back Battlefront 2 sets because of the popularity. And as I would say, it's the biggest Star Wars game right now, honestly, I couldn't see a reason why LEGO shouldn't bring back some of those sets. Looking toward the battle packs that we actually got for Battlefront Battlefront 3 with the Imperial one as well as the Rebel one, and then we also had the Inferno Squadron one that a lot of people weren't big fans of because named characters in a battle pack, but I feel like that Rebel battle pack as well as the Imperial one were actually very well perceived, and some great minifigures were in those two sets. So I feel like if LEGO was to bring back some sets for Battlefront 2, because it is reaching, I think it already broke its player record, which is kind of crazy to think about because that game is 8 years old. So something crazy and something that I feel like could honestly be possible. Now, I don't want to get anyone's hopes up because I feel like looking toward LEGO and what they do with the Star Wars games right now, it's not something that's very likely. They don't make many sets based off of Star Wars games. However, I feel like we are now in a golden opportunity to get some Battlefront 2 based sets. Before I would have said 100% no, but with the recent resurgence, I feel like it's a possibility from LEGO. Vader asks, do I hope that the Christmas AT-AT will have minimal decorations and can be taken off like the Falcon, or do I hope that it will be a gingerbread house? Now, I feel you wanting to be able to take off the decorations to get an AT-AT, but personally, I think that LEGO should go all out with this holiday AT-AT. I understand that you want a normal AT-AT, and I'll talk about that in just a second, but I think if LEGO's going to be making this holiday set, they should embrace it, looking toward that holiday-styled X-Wing. I think it should be kind of like that, and honestly, by what I've seen, I think a gingerbread house AT-AT would be amazing. I would definitely buy that, and I'd put it out on display every year around Christmas. Honestly, I'd just leave it out on display at all times, because I think that would be super sick. And don't worry, because I feel like we definitely will get a playscale AT-AT. It's LEGO, and LEGO loves Hoth. It's something that's undeniable. We get a Hoth wave every couple of years, and we'll be getting another Hoth wave in a couple of years, if not sooner. And when we get that Hoth wave, you can pretty much guarantee that we'll get an AT-AT. And about how size pricing, yes, it'll probably be a little bit downscaled than the previous ones, and if I were to guess, it'd be $160, which may be a little bit upsetting to some people, but I feel like it's just what you're going to get with LEGO Star Wars nowadays, and I have no doubt that we'll see another AT-AT in the future, and I cannot wait to see this holiday one. Gary asked, what are my thoughts on Battlefront 3? And like I was saying earlier, I already made a video talking about this, but briefly, from what I saw, originally when I made that video, I didn't really think that it was something insanely possible. I thought it was kind of we'll just see, see where it goes, because that was kind of at the beginning of the movement, I guess. But now looking toward all-time player peak being broken, some of the old developers saying that they want to get back together or something like that. I don't really know all of the Battlefront 3 lore, but honestly, the more and more that I see, the more and more I think that it's likely. Now, realistically, it's not something that's going to happen in the near future. I think a realistic release date for a potential Battlefront 3 would be 2029, 2030, but honestly, that is if it even gets greenlit. But I feel like it's something that could happen in the future, and I'm really hoping that it does, because Battlefront's such a fun game. Max Jr. asks, what is the most disappointing set leak of 2025? And honestly, I think I have to go with the obvious answer here, being the fact that the UT-AT is in fact not a UT-AT and it's a turbo tank. But not just that, the fact that, because originally it was that there was a UT-AT and a turbo tank, and that had me hyped. Those were two sets that I really, really wanted to see. And then, that turbo tank turned into a hot rod snow speeder, which I am not very excited for. I'm not a big fan of Rebuild the Galaxy. I've never actually watched it. And then that the turbo tank is actually where the UT-AT was supposed to be, or was, rumored to be. It's not like we were actually getting a UT-AT in the first place, but I think there was the most disappointing, because I would have loved to have seen a UT-AT, and maybe I will see one down the line, but I highly doubt it. I feel like there's not really an opportunity to get one unless it appears in some Star Wars media in the future, which is, just a little disappointing. I think that's probably the most disappointing of the set leaks and rumors. But I do still think that there is a lot of good stuff coming out in this summer, and I cannot wait to see. America, oh yeah? Asked, will Shore Troopers ever come back? And I feel like this is something that LEGO would be kind of foolish not to bring back, looking toward the whole Rogue One wave and where we actually ended up getting those Shore Troopers being some of the greatest figures that we got related to the Empire, looking toward just the helmet mold, the overall detail and print on these guys. I think that it's great, and I think it's something that the fans would love to see reintroduced, and I doubt it would be very hard for LEGO to throw them into a set. Now, ideally, if we get some sort of battle pack, that would be sick, maybe getting 4 of just the Shore Troopers, or maybe 2 or 3 Shore Troopers and then some other minifigure in there as well, maybe a Death Trooper or something, would be amazing. I think a lot of people would really enjoy that. However, I just don't know when that would end up happening. Maybe for the anniversary of Rogue One. I know we did also shortly and briefly see the Shore Troopers in the Andor show. However, looking toward what is happening with Andor and LEGO right now, it doesn't look like we will be getting any new sets, at least this year. Maybe next year there is some possibilities, but that's something that we'll be talking about a little bit later in this video. But I would love to see Shore Troopers make a return, and I feel like LEGO will in the future, because I feel like it would be a lot of wasted potential if they do not bring them back. Sleepy asked if I had a LEGO podcast, who would my first guest be? And honestly, I feel like the coolest person to have on a LEGO podcast would be some sort of LEGO designer. So, you could talk about like what goes into making the set. Now, personally, I don't actually know any LEGO designers by names, but I would probably go through, like, pick some of my favorite sets, honestly. Maybe go through, like, let's take the Jedi Defender class cruiser, maybe, or like Palpatine's Arrest or something like that. Some of those cool sets that I'm a big fan of. I would, get the designer in here and just like talk about it. Like, what went into making this set? What was your thought process? Like, how did like the process of actually having this come to fruition, making the minifigures, making the actual build for the set? I feel like that would be the most interesting for some like LEGO podcast. Now, there are like, I could get like other creators, other stuff like that, or just like other people in the LEGO community. But honestly, I think that a podcast could be fun. Now, I don't know if it's something that I would ever do. I feel like honestly, the Q&A kind of is like a podcast, just like without another person on it and not like asking live questions. It's more like asking like questions through the comment sections. But honestly, if you guys wanted to see some sort of podcast, I could definitely make something work. I have some friends in the community that I could probably get together a pretty fun podcast series. So if that's something that you would be interested in, let me know. Maybe I'll try out like a trial episode at some point in the future. So let me know. I think that could be fun. But as for my ideal guest, I think a LEGO designer would be perfect. Brickboy301 asks, why do I think that we get so many sets for bad shows, like Rebuild the Galaxy and those kind of shows, but only 2 for Andor and none for Tales of the Jedi? And the simple answer is, well, you may think they're bad, while other people may think they're bad. They might not be bad to other people, especially the kids. And, with the kids being one of the main factors for LEGO, as it is primarily like aimed toward children, being if the kids like the show, then their parents are going to buy them the sets, and it's that simple. And that's why we see these overpriced like 4+ and 7+ sets, because the parents are going to buy them for their kids no matter like what. Because if their kid likes the show, they're going to buy them the LEGO set. That's just kind of how it works. And if it's making LEGO money, they're going to make it. They don't really care what me or you have to say about it. So that is why maybe you feel like we're getting the short end of the stick. And I definitely agree. We definitely should have gotten maybe at least one set for Tales of the Jedi. It couldn't have hurt LEGO to throw one together, and I have no doubt that it would have sold. And also, I feel like we might get some more sets for Andor down the line. I feel like it would be a shame to only get those 2 sets, being the Ambushed on Ferrex as well as the U-Wing, which if you want to see a comparison of those 2 sets, I do have a video. I'll link that in the description. But I do think that we will be seeing more sets for Andor, but I do agree with you that it is kind of disappointing to see that we're getting more sets for those kind of shows and not for some of the other shows, but I do understand the reason. Jerry Mall asks, will we get sets for the new Mall show? And I think that it's a very high likelihood. Now, I don't know exactly when that's coming out, but I think we'll just have to wait and see, especially what is actually in this show, what LEGO can make sets off of. But I would be very excited. I think Darth Maul is an amazing character, and I would love to see him, get some more like exposure in LEGO. I know that we get him pretty frequently, but I do think just getting a set with Darth Maul, it couldn't hurt. Darth Maul is so cool, and I'm excited to see that show as well. I think there's a lot of opportunity, and I'm just curious to see. Now, a lot of people were saying that the Maul mech that we're getting this year is like kind of tied into that. Like they were like some, I don't know, like Disney told them they were making this show, so make a Darth Maul mech. I don't know how true that is. It would kind of make sense, I guess, but it's not something that I full-heartedly believe. It may just be a nice coincidence, or it could be something that was planned out by LEGO and Disney. But I do definitely think that we will be seeing Darth Maul sets based off of the Darth Maul show. Our last question for today comes from Jackson Memento, and that is, do I think that people will take the Clone Pilot minifigure and turn it into a commando if LEGO does it right? And this isn't something that really crossed my mind, but it's a great idea, and it may be signifying that LEGO is planning a bit more farther ahead than we thought. Now, looking toward the Phase 1 Clone Pilots, a character or a clone trooper that doesn't have the fin on the helmet, and that is a similarity between them and the Clone Commandos, which are a minifigure that we've wanted for so long from LEGO, but we haven't gotten yet. And this could be a sign that we could be seeing one in the future if this mold is able to be rehashed and used as a clone commando, but I think we'll just have to wait and see the minifigure, and I do think there will be people out there that use this to make custom clone commandos, and I really hope that it's a sign that we'll be seeing clone commandos in the future. That is going to do it for this video, guys. Thank you for everyone who asked a question, and thank you for everyone for watching this video. If you enjoyed, leave a like and subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions that you'd like me to answer in the next installment of this series, let me know down below in the comment section of this video, and I'll try my best to get to them in the next episode. Thank you all so much for watching. Stay safe. Drew, signing out.